Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory 8 powered by VIS as we look to get underway here. Slight change here. We are out, of course, actually on North America, not Europe. Let me get that fixed for you guys real quick as we transfer over here. We did do Europe earlier today, but today we're bringing you guys North America. We are bringing you guys the off-stream match, which is Team Solomid versus Tempo Storm. I'm your host, Dragonborn, and joining me today, it's the Nominee. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me, Dragonborn, and we've got an exciting game lined up for you guys today. Obviously, we have Tempo Storm versus Team Solomid. Team Solomid's had some pretty rough games under their belt over the past couple weeks. Dropping some games in day one.
Yeah, they have.
So going to be interesting to see if they pull it together here to keep their #1 spot over Cloud9. Obviously, Cloud9 on the mainstream did just clean up 2 points against Gangstars. So as it stands right now, Cloud9 is your #1 team in North America. So obviously, TSM going to look to change that.
All right, yeah, I mean, this is a pivotal match for Team Solomid. If they want this first seed, we'll have to see exactly how, of course, it all plays out. We're actually ready to get into the draft. I don't want to hold it up any longer, so let's jump right into it.
Begins.
Game one, we do have, it's actually going to be, it's actually going to be Team Solomid on B side here, so let's get that fixed for you guys. And here we go, right in, Team Solomid banning out the Grace.
Banning out the Grace, and the Catherine quickly follows up, making sure that Flash does not get that pick. But that leaves Baron open for Chuck, and we know what this man can do when he gets Baron, and that's going to make it pretty rough, especially since Tempo Storm's best performances have really been on Gatsby getting that Baron. So.
Yeah, Baron has been a huge thing we've seen. Of course, Best Truck, he's known for it. But there's a lot of counters that have developed in 2.6 for Baron. Idris be one of those. Tempo Storm looking to flex it. I'm actually really excited. Tempo Storm typically has strayed away from like new meta picks to stay on comfort picks. And that's actually been something that's haunted them in some games past. So this might be a nice sign for them to look at maybe coming in here and shaking Team Solomid up a lot. Team Solomid has struggled as it just looks like they've stuck to a very consistent draft pattern from earlier in the season.
Yeah, it's definitely taking Vainglory off of one of those comforts. Now, this does still leave him with a lot of his other comforts because Vainglory just uses such a high amount of the hero pool. This is going to put Vainglory either onto into the Idris, at least. I would say into the Baptiste role. Does very good at limiting Idris's movement. That's kind of the way I would lean here. Now, there is also an opportunity he could pick up something like a Glaive and just go for that burstiness. Idris obviously does better into squishy heroes, so bringing someone who's a little bit more tanky would be nice. The Kroll is also on the table. Or he could just go for a sheer poke aggression role, something like the Crystal Kestrel, but it is going to be the Kroll. So again, something tanky. So actually, this is pretty interesting. So I talked about the Baptiste being able to limit the movement of Idris, and that's what we see here as Flash very likely going to be on this captain. And it is a pedal lock-in now for Hyde here in the jungle.
Wow, very interesting. This is interesting mostly because we actually saw almost an identical draft where Gangstars played up against C9 earlier today, and in that draft, the pedal was very good into the Baptiste and Cruel.
It was. Pedal, particularly into Kroll, can have a very easy time if Kroll burns his... I mean, even if Kroll's in the bush, even if he gets his Shadows and Power Me, Dead Man's Rush, overall, Pedal can just trampoline away and you know, really limit the engage potential that Kroll has. So that's definitely something that the side of Tempo Storm has going for them. Now, I do... Oh, whoa, actually, so this is going to be Flash on Kroll. They do flex this Baptiste into the jungle position. So, you know, this is, again, flexibility is really what wins you games here. And this is key right now.
That's huge because of the pedal pick.
Right, because of the pedal pick, they definitely want to make sure that they have the opportunity to make sure they have something that functions a little better than the Kroll into the pedal. I definitely think Team Solomid is going to try pretty hard in this game. They obviously, again, don't want to lose that #1 spot to Cloud9, but just as a update for you guys watching this stream, if you're not paying as close attention to the main Vainglory stream, it was Immortals taking game #1 over Hammers, So definitely looking off to a good start for them. They have to win this entire week if they want to go to the champion.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't have to win the final, but they do have to get to the final.
They have to get there,
yeah,
yes.
Which is, that's going to be very hard. They got, of course, this matchup to go through. It does depend as well as how Rogue does, if Rogue wants a shot at it. So, a lot happening in the fold this week. This has probably been the most intense week 3 I have ever seen in Vainglory, specifically in North America. So, really excited how this is all coming out. Of course, glad to be a part of it. We see Lost Boy. He does go in pretty deep there. He's going to take a lot of damage. Flash X, go in on Bonsi. They might get the first blood, and they do. Team Solomid looking like they want that first seed after all, as just a few more points is all they need to get back in contention with Cloud9. Cruel and company. Definitely interesting to see Flash on this Cruel. I don't think we've seen a support Cruel played competitively in a long time. It has made like maybe 1 or 2 appearances since I've been here in the seed. But I do have to say, just looking over the compositions day, this could be a strong composition for Tempo, only if they just can like keep this pedal fed.
Yeah, and I actually want to make a point about this Captain Krull, specifically one that was made by NRG over social media, was that Krull can be run as a captain and can be very, very dangerous with a Echo. So obviously, if Flash is able to get a full-length stun, it's going to be half of the total stun. That's going to give him an opportunity then to really boomerang if he does go that Echo route, and could chain a very heavy stun all on his own, not even having to worry about a Von C stun. You know, it could be Flash potentially stunning someone up for, 2, 3, 4 seconds if he combos it correctly. So that would be absolutely huge if Team Solomid's able to lock up either Petal or Gaspy, really. I mean, it doesn't matter who you lock up with the Baron. If someone's not getting damage down, Baron is going to be able to run away with that situation.
Yeah, so you definitely got to be careful here. The amount of damage that will come out if you take out, like, Petal, for instance. Speaking of Petal down here in the jungle, trying to go toe-to-toe with Flash and Von C. Might have gotten in too deep, as he's going to have to get away here. Takes a lot of damage. Actually thought for a second about going back in, and what a mistake! That hesitation from getting away cost him his life, as Lost Boy Tough now going to be the next one likely to fall here. Von C does get low, but it's a 2-for-0 trade favoring Team Solomid. They're looking sharp here in this series. Final series of the season.
Yeah, and to be up against a Idris and a Petal as Baron is absolutely huge for Chuck, especially since 2 of those kills, including the first blood, went into his pocket. That's just really going to help this Baron get to the point in the game that he is just too strong to deal with, especially it being best Chuck's Baron. That's probably the scariest Baron in North America and EU combined. So that going forward is going to be absolutely massive for Team Solomid.
Yeah, we actually, because of just the surgence of Catherine and other picks, we haven't seen Baron quite as prioritized in the banning phase. But it can be really risky. We rarely see a Baron lose competitively. When it does, it's usually in the early game. We do see, of course, a little engagement in the jungle. Hyde has to get away. I really do love seeing tempo, though, on these slightly less comfortable hero picks. They are strong into composition, so, and we see an engagement breaking out. Splash X going in. He's a strong front line. Gets on the Lost Boy. There's a few stacks build up, and there comes the hammer, breaking it down, taking the kill. There's a second kill to boot. Hyde's very low. He's got to be careful. Here comes the rockets, and just like that, Best Chuck at A helps clean up the ace as Team Solomid now 6 clean kills, not a single death. They're going to be looking to push this, and this is a scary sight to see a Baron with an early game lead.
Yeah, especially with 4 of the kills and an assist going into Chuck's pocket. Von C and Flash do take out that sentry, so first life down under 5 minutes. And, that's a scary spot to be, getting this far behind. Flash Checks and Toph both have the fountain completed, so definitely going to have a little bit more sustain in these next fights going forward, but Best Chuck having enough gold to finish that Sorrow Blade, that's going to be a shop coming out of him very, very soon, and that's going to be really the first step of damage spike that this team is going to get.
And Team Solomid now, as they rotate to their bottom shot, might be catching out Hyde here. He's planted a few seeds, looking to maybe just hold that position, and it looks like Team Solomid doesn't want to engage on that. Vestruck is actually very low on energy, so he is slightly limited to what he can do here at this point, 5 minutes into the game. And gold lead is about 1,500, a little bit over in favor of Team Solomid. And that's significant because Baron is that hero that just when you feed items to him and feed gold, he becomes almost an unstoppable monster. Early game, very important pressure here. You see Flash X and Von C. Nice little combo here. They do get some CC. Lost Boys held up. They're going in. Flash X very low. Has to back away. There comes the Fearsome Shade to throw them all back. Tempo now being able to reposition. This is where the pedal shines as they come back into the fight. But Baron jumps in. Almost takes Lost Boy. Maybe not the target he wanted. Moves over. Gatsby's getting very low. This fight is lasting forever. Flash X goes down first. And then Hyde jumps back in trying to get some damage. But he might be taking too many shots. Has to be careful. It's going to be Von C and Best Chuck NA retreating behind their turret for protection here. But oh, Hyde and Lost Boy coming in. They find Von C. Von C's going to drop. And just like that, 2 kills going. Oh, Best Chuck with the comeback. Finds another kill, but he's got to be careful here. This is a crazy back and forth fight there, Denominate, as Lost Boy bakes it out on the skin of his teeth.
He does make it out, and that sentry doing such a massive amount of work onto Gatsby. Gatsby does find the kill on Chuck, but Chuck is now a 6-1-1 Baron, Sorrow Blade, and Tension Bow complete under 7 minutes. This is looking really good for TSM. They do lose a couple lives there, but again, to trade out 1 for 2, that's totally fine in my book. Any day of the week.
Yeah, it's a little risky because you don't want to start getting a trade and gold. It does allow, farming-wise, for Tempo to get back into this fight. As they're going to now rotate here. They're going to shop, pick up some big items. And that's a challenge. You got to watch out. Gatsby does go with the Poison Shift. You have to imagine this is somewhat to negate some of that heal that's going to come out from Petal. From Cruel. Some of that lifesteal heal that he could possibly get. Fountain, of course. We see this really popular item is in 2.6. Overall, but it's really not it's not the heal that you should be that worried about. It really is the burst damage that's going to come from Best Chuck NA, and we don't see a whole lot of armor being built on the side of Temple Storm just yet, and that's a little concerning.
Yeah, good bad mojo there. Gets through and finds some damage on Gatsby. He'll be able to clean it up, but oh man, From Hell's Heart comes out, and now Flash looking pretty stuck here. Echo is already used. Fearsome Shade comes out and saves Flash's life. So good teamwork there out of Team Solomid.
Yeah, I mean that was a good fight actually for Tempo, just to negate that engagement. You know that Team Solomid was trying to get it. Unfortunately, the Gauntlet coming out did help him in. Oh, but we got to break out. Tempo is going to drop. Hyde falls down, and the pedal is out of the fight there. That's going to give Team Solomid some leverage here as they rotate down. Looks like they're going to start focusing on the gold mine. A free objective with little contest coming out from Tempo Storm at the moment as they just clear up the wave in front of their turret. And this is a decent amount of gold that's going to go their way. And this is something we see a lot of these top teams do, is when they can just focus on objectives and gold versus trying to get an ace, versus trying to get a fight, they always will choose the first because it just gives them that advantage later into the game when their power spikes really mean something. Because of that that gold lead, man. Look at that. 2,500 gold. About 2,000 gold lead, actually. Definitely something that Tempo Storm needs to be very respectful of.
Yeah, especially since it's Baron having a lead over you, as well as the Kroll and Baptiste can both be very scary when they get ahead. Again, Flash X does have the Echo completed. This is what we talked about at the beginning was, Kroll, if you do flex it into the captive position, can be a huge threat. And that's really what we've seen so far out of TSM. Flash has gotten a lot of good stuns down, which has really resulted in this 9-3 lead. As we rotate up, though, Tempo Storm has to be very careful as Best Chuck almost has the monocle now complete. And here comes out the stun. It does land onto Lost Boy.
Yeah, Stud lands up, another kill. Flash X looking great on this Robe Cruel, and he does have the Echo to help keep that lockdown in place. That's really important. We do see Idris jumps onto Best Chuck. He looks to try to back off, gets a lot of damage, but now he's going to get blown up. Unfortunately, just not able to get enough sustain. Kind of misguided to go in 1v3 there. I mean, with his team, that might have been a different story. This is going to leave the turret now completely compromised for damage as Best Chuck is going to get that first objective. So far, Team Solomid looking great here in this series. After 2 weeks of dropping their first series in the quarterfinals, now looking to try to get back into the point standings, maybe even contesting Cloud9 for that first seed.
Yeah, and one thing in that last fight that really worked out well is you've seen that Arden actually did a great job body blocking the From Hell's Heart for Gatsby. We talked about the Echo, though. it's not dependent on Von C for Flash to be able to chain these stuns, as well as the slow from his Shadows Empower Me. And that's really what we've seen. And, you know, at this point, TSM has the damage. Even if it is Lost Boy Toph that gets locked up, they can literally just delete him. And it's starting to look really, really good for TSM. They are up 4,000 gold now, and maybe looking for another pick here. Flash is up in the lane, ready to go. From Hell's Heart is ready to go as well with the War Treads. Do have a couple seconds left on Echo, though, so that double stun won't yet be available.
Yeah, it's a few more seconds off, but it looks like they're timing up their fight accordingly. Just pokey here. No rush from Team Solomid, and I definitely like the patience. They have the late game locked up anyways. You don't really need to rush these games here, but so far, just 11 minutes, their lead is so enormous that it's only going to escalate out of control for Tempo Storm, and unless they win a team fight here soon. They do look to go in, but there's a stun. Nice Ordain. There comes another stun. Here we see the Echo is used. Another stun here. Flash X is just on a tear. He is going to go down here as nice disengaged by both Hyde and Gaspy. Unfortunately, a trade for trade here with just the supports is a pretty even trade, and actually a good one for Tempo as they look to just hold off Team Solomid here from winning this fight and snowball. Like, Gaspy goes in deep, but there is going to be coming a huge jump here. Tons of damage from Best Chunk at A. He single-handedly gets the ace. And now Team Solomid going to be moving right into this turret without hesitation. And I mean, that looked like Tempo Storm might have kept Team Solomid from jumping in, getting this next objective to nominate. But unfortunately, Idris going in very deep again.
Idris going in very deep. Best Chuck level 10 now. Enough gold in his pocket to finish a tornado trigger, as well as should be able to infuse as well, especially after this gold miner is taken. And at just 13 minutes for Baron to be full damage on his build is
pretty wild.
Absolutely absurd. And this game, the snowball is rolling, and it is rolling fast. There's the tornado trigger. He actually is he upgraded his armor instead of picking up an infusion, but here we go.
Moving in again, nice engagement. Flash X going to use the Echo and the stun again, locks up, using it on the support to try to keep it back. There's a blow up on Gaspy, hides the last man standing. Can he get away? Pedal can be slippery, but not this time. Frostburn, not Frostburn, but the slow here from Cruel has kept him very much in check, not able to get away. And just like that, Team Solomid gets another ace. They are just marching down this lane here, just basically taking this game completely over, and it's really not uncommon to see a Baron snowball, but this hard is something we rarely see, as there's just nothing that Tempo can do. And we talked about Pedal is good into Cruel, but unfortunately, just they aren't able to contest the amount of stuns that come out from Flash X right off the gate. And actually, you know, kind of a testament to maybe getting baited into that Pedal pick by Flash X by going this support Cruel.
Yeah, it's looked really good. The splash damage coming out of Team Solomid, both between Baptiste and Best Chuck. They've really been able to, when they do catch somebody with the frontal damage, either just delete them, even if it is lost by Toph, as well as they've had a lot of management and control over the lifespan of Hyde's minions. So definitely playing into their favor. A massive lead for Team Solomid now, sitting at about 9,000 gold, as well as up 14 kills in 14 minutes. So really goes to show the aggression that TSM has been able to put down. Best Chuck, every time he comes in, deletes somebody. It doesn't matter who. Lost by Toph has actually picked himself up a Slumbering Husk because he's been deleted so easily by this Baron.
And actually, that's a pretty good good decision to itemize here, especially in the mid game, when, you know, there's not much you're gonna be able to do against a full item Baron, except for that great gauntlet comes out, but he's stunned up. Flash X clutch. Hell's Heart coming in there. They have to blow up. There goes Lost by Toph. He's down, and Idris is going to be soon to follow. It looks like Hyde might get away here. He better move quickly, as his Best Chuck stealing away that farm. Ty's just going to have to move all the way to the back. He's going to take a few shots, but he should be able to get under the safety of his turret and Sanctuary. This is going to open up the jungle completely for Team Solomid, allow them to maybe even go for this Kraken, as it is just spawned on the map.
Yeah, and Von C healing up very quickly. Obviously, those Soul Reap shards, or the Soul Fragments from the Reap Heroic perk, give him a lot of health, cleaning up the Treant there in the middle of the map. Definitely helping out too. Already back at full health. Kraken already dead. 16 kill lead for the side of Team Solomid. 10,000 gold lead. Only 2 turrets remaining for Tempo Storm. There's just not much Tempo can do here. They have not been able to find a fight for the past, 10 minutes of this game. They found a couple of kills early, but really haven't been able to do anything with it. And if this next fight goes that way, then it's going to be Team Solomid closing out game number 1.
Well, it's 16 minutes, max build almost across the board for Team Solomid. Very little you're going to be able to do.
5 offensive items, I just noticed now on Chuck. Sold his boots, double monocle, tornado trigger, sorrow blade, tension bow.
We'll have to see if it pays off here. This is all they need. One last fight, and the game is theirs. Being very smart here. Stuns. Oh, missed stun here from both. Not being able to get the Hell's Heart locking on. Gauntlet's going to come out to hold them in. They don't catch Baron, but they do catch Flash X and Von C, but deleted. It's Gaspy. Lost Boy Tough. Lumberg Husk comes active. Does keep him alive a little bit longer as they look to try to just hold off Team Solomid, but is it enough? They're engaging on the tempo. They look at High dropping down, and all it took was 3 shots from Team Solomid. Lost Boy's going to go back to his sanctuary, but the game is over. Team Solomid has gotten game 1 in this best of 3.
And again, when you let Chuck get Baron, it is going to be a nightmare for you. Specifically on this 2.6 update, Baron still has 130% weapon damage that goes into his basic attacks, as opposed to most heroes who only have 100%. The other exception would be Rona, who actually has, I think, 80%. So, but that is compensated with some additional attack speed. So, looking really good for TSM there. 11, 1, and 9 for Chuck. Again, 5 offensive items on this Baron. Was just able to delete people. What a amazing game out of Team Solomid.
And it was on the back of Von C and Flash X. They were able to lock down Petal so well. And it's kind of a surprising twist because, as you know, if it had been any other support and Von C on the Cruel, it still might have been them winning the early game just because it's Von C. But that would have given a little bit of an advantage to Petal to deal with just the Cruel jumping on him. Instead, it's Flash X absorbing all of that front line and allowing actually Von C to just poke from the back. And it was just played in perfectly to what they were trying to do here, and ultimately, a decent match here. We did have to get the points fixed here, guys. It is only Team Solomid with 1 point, as just a quick little error there. But we're back in on track, looking to get started here for game number 2 of this best of 3. Team Solomid Day looked absolutely great, and let's talk a little bit more about it after this quick break, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
$14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're looking ready to get started for game number 2, the draft here between Tempo Storm and Team Solomid. It's just about underway here. Both these teams looking to come in strong. And Dave, let's talk a little bit. What does Tempo Storm need to do to get into this game? Because it looks like that, looks like that it's just maybe a little crazy to see the fact that Team Solomid struggled the last 2 weeks, but then came in so good here, and now Tempo Storm has to figure it all out.
Yeah, and again, Team Solomid definitely want to try hard. They definitely want to hold on to that #1 spot just so that they get that bye on the first game of the Unified Championships. Obviously, they have a spot locked in. I mean, there's no way, shape, or form they drop. So it's all about getting that opportunity to really not have to play at the beginning.
Yeah, now with Tempo Storm, with Gangstars losing 2-0 to C9, this does mean Tempo Storm is locked in to going to the live championship. Because there's no way Rogue or Immortals can pass them. But it kind of sucks. You don't want to be at the very bottom of the seeding, and that's where they may be if they don't win this series.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity, especially since obviously we have the update from game #1 of Hammers versus Immortals, and Immortals can still make it if they go all the way to the end this week. Tempo needs to get some points as best as they can, even if it's just 1 point here. They just extend their lead a little bit and really extend their safe zone, which is something again, they want to go. They have the opportunity to go, but if this week goes badly for them, they could drop all the way down.
Indeed, and actually, looking at it, looks like Immortals might get that second game. So that would be absolutely insanely good for Immortals to be able to pick that up, that series. Gives them a shot. They're not in it yet, but it gives them a very good chance of making it all the way. Now, let's look at this draft. Let's talk about this game. We do see Tempo Storm here. They're now on, they're actually on A side. My apologies. As we got to get that fixed here. And with that, with Tempo Storm on A side here, they pick up the Catherine, Vox, Samuel. Team Solomid now, they're kind of stuck here. They could flex the Baptista to support. What would be a good pick here now going into it? Or do you just want to keep Von C on that Baptiste?
I mean, again, there's so much flexibility in Team Solomid. I definitely think they have a chance to run something very aggressive here into the Samuel particularly. They could very well use this as a best Chuck Kestrel in the lane and pick up a Sky. We are still on 2.6. Sky is still pretty scary, so that is a potential to try to just burst through the Catherine and really be able to ramp up your Broken Myth stacks. We could also just see something very classic of Von C. Obviously, the Koshka's on the board, the Taka, but it is going to be the Baptiste going to Von C, Best Chuck picking up that Kestrel, and Flash X on the Lyra, so pretty standard composition here. Just looking to hopefully lock down either the Vox or the Samuel with an Ordained, and then have Best Chuck come in with some weapon-powered basic attacks and glimmer shots, and just really delete somebody is really the performance they need. Obviously, we'll have to wait for the Storm Guard to drop from Catherine. Otherwise, Best Chuck could very easily nuke his own team, and that is not what they want. So as long as they play this cautiously and bait out cooldowns, then Team Solomid should be able to run away with this game. But
there's a lot of
looking over at Tempo, we know what a threat Vox and Catherine particularly can be in the late game, as well as Samuel. Kestrel is very squishy. If Samuel's able to find some good damage down onto that back line, it could be a huge risk as well.
Yeah, and because Lyra's heal so slow, Vox would likely build that Poison Shiv, which is great into that slower heal that we often see. It can definitely negate a lot of that potential Lyra brings. Lyra does give some ability, but Lyra's really great at stopping like that onslaught of melee. There's really no melee here. It's all going to be a lot of, distant damage. Vox might be a little bit closer as far as range is concerned, but he still should have no problem dancing around the fight. Tempo's got a good draft. We'll see if they can execute on it here as we go into game #2.
All right, and as we get loaded onto the fold here, it is indeed going to be, like I said, Von C on this Baptiste. Really going to try to be locking down either Hyde or Gatsby. Going to come down really to if Gatsby is able to get to a point and position well enough into the side of Team Solomid that he's able to ramp up. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. Von C and Flash both starting with the boots, which is actually a little interesting since Von C is opting to clear out his backs. So, going to be Gonna be an aggressive rotation down here to the Elder Treant from TSM, though, looking to Lost Boy Toph here, though.
Yeah, actually, we rarely see this rotation of the carry taking the Treant while the jungler gets the back. Oh, Lost Boy Toph steals it away, though, so the gamble does not pay off. And that's unfortunate for Team Solomid. Definitely a creative rotation by Best Chuck. He doesn't miss out on too much lane, though. So it's not a huge gamble as he looks to come up here and just clear away. The matchup between Vox and Kestrel is a pretty famous one. We see these two guys come out a lot once Baron's taken off the board. And it has definitely been known to go either way. We'll see how it plays out here. Gatsby is a very good Vox. So we'll have to play it. We do see a 3-man rotation coming up. Best Chuck today able to stay just fine and safe here. Thanks to Flash X's Sigil to give him a little bit of speed boost to dodge some of those Malice and Verdicts. But Hyde and Lost Boy coming up here with this rotation, though. You do see Von C is going to rotate over and take away Hyde's jungle. Hyde actually going to be repaying the favor as he comes down and takes away Von C. So actually a clean reverse swap here between jungles. Both teams counter jungling.
It's going to be a little bit of an edge in experience going over to Von C, since he's obviously not splitting the experience with Flash. However, it will be a little bit of a gold advantage for Tempo Storm, since they are going to be splitting the ambient for at least a majority of the rotation of the jungle. It is currently a couple hundred gold lead for the side of Tempo, but again, Von C, actually they end up about even on the experience overall, and these are some interesting rotations. That's about all I have to say here. Is that, you know, we've seen interesting rotations from Team Solomid from the very start, as well as Tempo Storm really trying to rotate down through the jungle and steal some stuff away. And I don't think Toph is going to be able to steal this one. He's not, and it's going to go over to Von C. Again, getting this Baptiste to a point that he's able to lock down the enemy is going to be huge. Not really going to be able to follow up on that Ordained, but as the game goes on and he gets that Fearsome Shade, he'll very likely try to lock down Hyde, since Gatsby is more likely to have a reflex block early, and then Fearsome Shade him into the wall of that Ordained, and that's really where Chuck's going to be able to capitalize.
Yeah, that's definitely the win condition that they need to implement here. Gatsby's going to be courting back at this point. Oh, nice. Nice Sigil by Flash X to just stop that recall. Slow him down actually a little bit, and this is going to give Best Chuck and just a little bit extra time here to push this lane up. It does look like he's really not interested in freezing it at this point. Really happy getting it moved on right away. No kills between both teams, and the gold is basically even. So Tempo Storm doing a great job in game number 2, keeping this close. They don't need the game to end quickly. In fact, a late game does favor them ever so slightly. So they will be in great position here, stalling this out from Team Solomid. We haven't actually seen Team Solomid, you know, in the first 4 minutes here, really kind of decide on an engagement, really honestly playing passive as well. We'll see if that changes here in the next few seconds. Oh, but look, Best Chuck gets stunned up, barely gets out, thanks to Flash X's timely Sigil. It's going to live a little bit longer. He's going to look to hopefully clear out this lane here. It's going to be Von C coming up here. Oh, no, he's actually going to continue rotating back, so team feels confident that they can keep this turret at full health. Von C is going to finally come up here to the lane. And Denavide, this could be another engagement, break it out as they look to let's lay into Tempo Storm. Snare does catch Lost Boy, but he's going to be able to get out of here as well. It's now Hyde who's the target. Getting very low, but it's going to be Von C getting blown up. Down he goes, but the Sigil gets the double kill. Or at least helps bring him down low enough for Best Chuck and A to get the final kill. Gatsby able to just maneuver around, looking to try to just take this Treant away from Best Chuck.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it looks like that might have been Flash that got it. Oh, no, but the basic attack from Chuck does clean that one up. A Scout Trap is going to get a little bit of vision down there, as well as some damage. But overall, definitely starting to develop a little bit of lead for Team Solomid. I think Von C went in a little too far, specifically with the fact that Hyde gets a little bit of additional movement speed off of his Malice and Verdicts, as well as Toph was there ready with a stun. Maybe didn't need to trade out the kill there. You really could have just taken advantage of the fact that Hyde and Toph were so low. You could have just really shoved the lane in. So maybe a little bit of a misplay out of Team Solomid there, thinking, you know, hey, we can go in and get this hit down. But now it's Tempo Storm on the aggress, trying to push down.
Von C gets a lot of damage. Oblivion comes out, but it's blocked nicely by Flash X. Look to go in. Hit just a reflex block. He was the only one that needed it as well. Tempo's going to have to back away now from this fight as you see Team Solomid healing up quite well. Lost Boy's not level 6 yet. This is kind of crazy. I mean, not even level 5. Oh, he just hits level 5. I was going to say, he was a little bit behind as Flash X was somewhat ahead of his experience. And so silences are not going to come out. And it actually is kind of deceiving. You'd think this game is a little bit farther along, but it's really only in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, we are 6 minutes into the game now. We do obviously have the Fearsome Shade and Oblivion now unlocked for the two junglers. They are both on cooldown. Obviously, the Fearsome Shade coming up a little bit sooner than the Oblivion. Best Chuck not quite at that one-shot, one-kill mark yet, but he's going to go with his very coined Baron build on this Kestrel here. He's going to go the Sorrow Blade, Tension Bow, very likely then a Monocle and Tornado Trigger. It just provides so much flexibility in how you can play your laner. Obviously, the Glimmer Shots will still hit very hard, but when your Glimmer Shots are down, you can come through with the basic attacks. Obviously, you have a lot of crit and a lot of raw damage. So definitely a lot of opportunity for Kestrel. Obviously, when the Storm Guard is up, we're going to be looking for those basic attacks onto the back line, and then as soon as the Storm Guard drops, that's going to be Best Chuck just volleying those Glimmer Shots into the face of Lost Boy Toph. And they should really be able to get a lot of poke down in that scenario.
They definitely at least try here. As Catherine is taking some of the brunt damage. Looking to go in though, but there's a nice active combo that traps Lost Boy. His hide from the bottom of this lane. Going to keep poking away. Just trying to deal with it. His Fearsome Shade's on cooldown. A few more seconds till that comes up. So they're going to buy some time. Tempo just trying to keep his lane popped out. Oblivion comes down but misses right in the middle between Team Solomid. Now Team Solomid, Fearsome Shade misses too, so Ultimate's coming out, not connecting, both teams doing a lot of damage, back and forth we go, but it looks like Hyde healing up, the Samuel has so much sustained, able to come back into this, and now it's Tempo Storm with some momentum here, and this is a great sign for them as they look to push into this turret. It may even get it. Best Chuck is going to try to clear. He's got to be careful though. Doesn't want to run the risk of going down. Silence comes out. Best Chuck one shot from dropping, gets out. Unbelievable as Hyde drops as well. What a crazy turn of events. Team Solomid has just made lemonade out of lemons there because that surely looked like Tempo Storm to win. Tempo Storm fight to win.
Yeah, especially just the fact that somehow Best Chuck didn't die, and now Flash is back in the lane. Imperial Sigil down. Now they're going to be pushing, and realistically, Gatsby, well, fortunately for him, he does get that treant, but this is very likely going to be first turret going on over to the side of Team Solomid. Oh, man. Actually, they're not quite going to find it. Hyde rotates straight up.
Rotates up straight up, looking to come in here as push. Oh, boy. Gatsby's just helping clear out this lane as they look to go in. They want this turret. They want this first objective. And it's going to be actually Von C porting back here, so it's going to be a little interesting to see if they can hold off Tempo as their turret is so low, nearly ready to fall. One more push could be Tempo Storm Siege to get this turret finally taken down. We do see, of course, nice portal to keep Flash X alive.
Yeah, and that is going to be now first turret going on over to the side of Tempo Storm. Man, a pretty big bad mojo there takes Hyde dangerously low. And now TSM has the opportunity that they could potentially find a turret if Tempo is not careful here. Obviously, we have all three members in the lane, and that turret is already very, very hurt. And yeah, this should easily be going over to the side of TSM. Oh, one more basic attack. There we go. Chuck locks it in. And no energy on Toph to follow up throughout on this fight. About 1,000 gold lead still for the side of Team Solomid. Nothing that Tempo Storm can't come back with, especially as Gatsby gets closer and closer to this breaking point. That's really where the Vox can start to take off. That's where he ramps up very, very quickly on in the fights, is once he gets that breaking point, he has a lot of natural attack speed, plus the Poison Shiv, breaking point, and the infusion already. So definitely some opportunity and life still here in the side of Tempo Storm.
Yeah, Tempo now starting to move. They do, of course, have their turret down as well. Nice engagement. Team Solomid still has the gold lead, but they got to be careful. They don't want to get trapped in this tight corner as you see Team Solomid now just trying to back away as Flash X did take a lot of damage. One shot, one kill does come on to Hyde, so he's got to have to heal up and be very careful. Gatsby's the next target, but nice silence. Silence is all of Team Solomid. They're dropping. Fearsome Shade misses as well. Oh no, it does catch up Gatsby, but he's going to drop. This could be the ace if Flash X gets caught. Instead, Tempo's just going to be happy looking to take down this objective. What a nice silence by Lost Boy Top. Gets all of Team Solomid right when they were pretty low as well, so there was nothing they could do. And unfortunately, they're going to lose another objective. And Tempo looking absolutely incredible right now going up against Team Solomid. This is a pivotal game number 2. And of course, all of this plays into seeding. You know, if they do not win this, they could actually be at the bottom of the pack. So you can tell they definitely want to be able to get some points and move up ahead over some of the other teams. It does look like Hammers is lost, so winning this series will allow them to move potentially ahead of Hammers to stay out from the bottom of seeding going into Live Championship.
Yeah, it's definitely points that Tempo Storm needs. If they get put out here, then obviously that's the end of their run. They will be very likely going on to the championship still. But obviously they're not going to be gaining any more points this weekend if they don't pick up a game or two here. It's really just kind of close to call right now. Again, Gatsby has a lot of damage opportunity, as well as the silence, the double silence coming out of Lost Boy Toff is going to be just incredibly difficult for the side of Team Solomid to block out both of those. So the teams have to be prepared to block their own additional crowd control, and that's VG8 dropping.
And a nice echo used right in that case to get the double silence, to get the ace. Tempo Storm might be able to finish this off. Unbelievable as they look to plow ahead. This is not the tempo that we have seen week after week, and this is a huge point. As although they have gotten the Live Championship qualification, they of course are not stopping here, wanting to end the season strong. Now, Team Solomid is still in this game, but when you see a Samuel Vox get just this far ahead, as now they've pulled ahead in gold, this is something that's very fearful. It's really scary to see, very hard to deal with. One shot, one kill is going to go a little bit too high, and Tempo is now going to have to disengage as we do see VG8 and Flash X move ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely huge for them. The Team Solomid wants just to clean out this game, obviously. They want to stay in a position where they're ahead of Cloud9. They only have to tie Cloud9 in points, and they take the head-to-head by a pretty sizable margin. But we've got a fight breaking out here, Dragon.
We do have a fight going in, looking like, oh, nice active camo lock-in as High gets locked up. But look how fast he heals on those empowered Malice and Verdicts. It's going to be Flash X going very low as VG8 drops. Gatsby's low as well, but oh, I think they've got him cornered. Oblivion's going to come in. It's blocked, but look at the damage coming out from Lost Boy and Gatsby from the bottom side of the map, as now Flash X very close to going down here, has to sigil away. Lost Boy trying to get very close. Ooh, he's moving very quick here, as he might get the stun, but I don't think he's going to be able to. No, he doesn't get the stun. It doesn't lock up Flash X. So Lost Boy, I'm not sure why he's going. Oh, Flash X, of course, in the wrong sanctuary. Saves the ace, but it is going to be Flash X dropping.
Yeah, it is going to be Flash X dropping, and it's looking pretty good for Tempo Storm right now. Gatsby is doing a great job on this Vox, as well as Hyde really coming in and forcing Flash X out. This is something I always talk about the Lyra. Yes, the Lyra offers you a large amount of sustain, but you overall, as a Lyra, have a low health pool and have low natural defense, and it's very easy for a heavy siege composition, specifically on this Samuel, to push you out, especially if Gatsby is able to get a Poison Shiv proc down on you. Obviously, every 3 basic attacks, that's going to come out.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, and we're seeing right now Team Solomid really not sure how to, as Tempo is taking this game by storm, looking to push it, maybe even push this to, well, hopefully push this to game 3, and then maybe even win the series. One step at a time. They're going to take this Treant. It's 1 life remaining on the Sentry. Definitely a good position for Tempo to be at this stage of the game. Kraken's going to be coming up soon as well. So you have to imagine, at the very least, winning another fight gives you the Kraken, and you can potentially move in from there.
Yeah, you definitely could, and I see what you did there, Dragonborn. Tempo looking to take this game by storm.
Oh, indeed. I can't be the first, I won't be the last, as another fight looking to break out here. Team Solomid wants to engage, but they're mostly looking for poke at this point. They want to see if they could just slowly take Tempo Storm down enough that they can fully engage here. Honestly, best check on this Kestrel, not looking too sharp, hasn't really landed his skill shots, as now Tempo turns on the fight here. They do have a nice active camo lined up. They're going to find Lost Boy, but it's blocked. Great Crucible. Fearsome Shade comes out, and they dodge right around it, but Lost Boy gets blown up. Will Flash X be next? Fountain comes out to save him, and he uses this, the portal to get out of position here to move away. Gatsby, though, is going to find him, as well as the Scout Trap. And now it's just Von C getting single-handedly eliminated by Hyde. Hyde just unwilling to back down here. Really impressive how Hyde on this Samuel has just come in to form here on this in this game and on this hero. Gatsby, of course, on the Vox as well. You look at that 6-2 and 7 with Samuel, but 7-0 and 5 by Gatsby. Very impressive play by both these two carries.
Yeah, one thing I have to point out here is we just talked about Flash being very squishy, particularly into Samuel. He has now spent all that gold he had in his pocket and completed an Aegis, so he will be able to frontline a bit more of that damage. We have to be careful. Best Chuck got caught out very far forward in that last fight, and if Best Chuck drops, Von C is not going to have the damage, the sustainable damage at least, to bring down Gatsby or Hyde. I think he's more likely to bring down Hyde than Gatsby, but it's definitely the Poison Shiv from Vox. Obviously, Baptiste, his Reap perk does heal him up as he builds up those soul shards and or soul fragments. Gatsby is able to cut that down, so we really have to have an engagement where Von C is able to lock somebody down, and Chuck is able to use an active camo to get to the back line and blow Gatsby up. But we got a huge fight breaking out here.
Massive fight. Silence comes in. Looks like Team Solomid is just getting eliminated one by one. Best Chuck and A does survive. And oh, look how quickly Best Chuck and A turned that around. But there's a Kraken. Like, just absolutely harrowing down onside their turrets. And Gatsby is looking to stay in this fight. He knows these two carries can probably get the job done. They're staying very, very close. This is definitely going to be a hard outcome for Flash X to fight. He's going to... Oh, nice! A nice Sonic Zoom around that Glimmer Shot. As now, can Best Chuck and A find it? He's not going to find that one-shot, one-kill. Very, very close. I'm not sure the Kraken is going to be able to survive this. Let's see. Will the Kraken end this before he takes out this turret? Team Solomid fighting literally with the smallest amount of margins. They do find the Kraken, and unfortunately, Tempo Storm not able to secure the win just yet.
Not able to secure the win, and this gives TSM another breath at life. They could find, one good fight here in a couple minutes and get an opportunity where they are able to pick up a Kraken off the back of it. But if Tempo Storm finds one more fight, they could close out this game pretty early, and would really be able to have a second chance. Obviously, we want for Tempo Storm at least. This is their opportunity. If they can bring down TSM here, who has been maybe not looking the best for the past couple weeks, then they have a huge opportunity to move on and could potentially make it into that 4 or even the number 3 spot, as Hammers did drop the 2-0 sweep to Immortals. So Hammers is only a couple points ahead of both Nova and Tempo now.
Indeed. Indeed. Team Solomid now moving in, looking to come in to this fight. For some reason, they feel like they could be the aggressors, even though they are still substantially behind. But itemized-wise, they're starting to finally fill out their item list here, getting a little bit more power. We do see Best Truck A looking to build towards that second Tyrant's Monocle. If you could get there, we might start to see these fights go the other way. Team Solomid, I just absolutely love how aggressive they're being here, even though they're behind. They've got no turrets. They've really got to be careful. They don't want to get backdoored. And yet they still feel like they've got this under control. A little bit of vision on their side and kind of give them an idea if Tempo starts the base race. Could probably use a little bit more, to be honest. Hyde's going to come in from the backside. There's the nice bulwark and the sigil, but Silence lands. They do avoid the Oblivion, and Hyde's starting to get a little bit of poke. There's a nice Fearsome Shade to come out, but look how well Tempo is balancing the damage here. They are able to get away. This Fountain used, and of course Lost Boy still has his Fountain, so they're looking to go in. They might be the engagement they need. Von C just not able to get the kill, and now with Tempo, they don't even need to worry about Von C. They can just start working right in, and that's exactly what Gatsby's doing. Slowly but surely, looking to jump in. Of course, Hyde and company, they are keeping Von C very busy. Oh my goodness, huge amounts of damage. I don't know if he's going to get back in time to stop Gatsby.
I don't think he's going to. He has to get out of the way of the minions first. That should be Gatsby.
Oh, yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Oh, whoo! So close, but not able to get away from the damage to recall in time. And Tempo Storm taking game number 2 away from Team Solomid.
Taking game number 2 away, and again, that Vainglory really showed there at the end. You know, I was mentioning he shouldn't be able to 1v1 duel out Gatsby, but no problem with Hyde. No problem with Lost Boy Toph. Really well played. Did not quite make it back in time to stop Gatsby, and that is game number 2 going on over to the side of Tempo now.
And that pushes us to a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. And this is, you know, what we kind of live for here in the competitive side of Vainglory. It's do or die for both teams. As I'm definitely excited to see who's going to come on top. It could be Team Solomid dropping again. That would be so insane to see them drop this way. They would, of course, lose 3rd place if they do not win this matchup here today. We are going to take just a very short break, and when we come back, we're going to get right into the action. So don't go anywhere, everybody. You're not going to miss Game 3 versus Tempo Storm and Team Solomid.
$14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Okay, serious.
Yeah, hey guys, welcome back. We are looking to get into the action. Game number 3 is about ready to start here. This is going to be a crazy one. Team Solomid and Tempo. Who would have thought we'd see game 3 against these two teams, as they are on different spectrums of the standings right now. But that could be closing up pretty soon here. We're going to start the draft. Let me just let the teams know. And we should be getting into this exciting game 3. I'm definitely excited for it. Denominate. I'm sure you're hyped for it as well.
The draft begins.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime that you get an opportunity to watch TSM play, you have to be excited, especially with the competition being so close in North America right now.
It's so
obviously
close.
We've seen TSM struggling these past couple weeks, and Tempo Storm making sure that the world knows they are not ready to lose here.
They really are not. That would be absolutely huge, of course, if Tempo Storm could get this win, but they have to go through a really strong team here. As you see the draft, wow, very fast. Couple of bands and picks here. Let's talk a little bit about this. The Lyra-Catherine split. We see this actually becoming very popular. How does this matchup go either way? Is Lyra stronger or weaker than Catherine, and what phases of the game?
I think in the level 1 to level 5 range, the Lyra definitely has a pretty substantial greater effect than the Catherine. But once Catherine hits that level 6, once that Blast Tremor is online, Catherine becomes a totally different hero. The way you play Catherine just changes as the game evolves. Whereas Lyra is pretty much, offers a lot of sustain as the game goes on, but obviously, items like Poison Shiv definitely have a large effect on her impact in the game. The Samuel lock-in here is super scary for me because locking in Samuel, we are not really taking advantage of that flexibility that you can have on the B side. Samuel almost certainly will be going to hide in the jungle, And Samuel is A, not very good into Catherine. Samuel B has a lot of available counters to him, specifically Glaive, Kroll, Kashka, Taka, Idris, you know, someone who's really good into squishy targets, and we know Best Chuck Idris is incredibly really scary. Good. So I think out of the side of TSM here, we're very likely going to see something like a Kashka come in, or maybe even a Crystal Kestrel, something that can really just out-trade. And the Kroll is another one we talked about. Kroll is very good into the heavy mage-style gameplay that's so prevalent in EA in North America right now. Once you start building up those weakness stacks, you can really reduce the incoming damage from Samuel. And there's not much left on the board now that the side of Tempo Storm can do about it. I mean, they literally have to go something here that has a reliable stun. The Catherine's already picked up. That leaves you a couple options. You have to go with either a Glaive, you could go a Lane Jewel, but you have to go something that can provide some sort of stun or some sort of peel into the Kroll. Otherwise, Kroll is just going to run away with this game.
Well, hear me out, though. I think that there's a possibility we could see... well, they kind of, like you said, they locked themselves with the Samuel. They can't pick Petal now. So I think you're absolutely right, because actually, I had a brain fart here. I was thinking, like, what could they do? They're going to lane Sky, which is something we haven't seen. Weapon lane Sky, it could be Crystal, but likely Weapon. We haven't seen that in a while.
I almost think, because it is a triple melee composition of the side of TSM, I think the Samuel and the Sky both handled very well into melee heroes. I think there is a window of opportunity here where a double crystal composition could work. However, that is going to require both Samuel and Sky to run Broken Myth very early on. And it is Gatsby now locking in the Samuel. So they are using the Samuel as a little bit of a flex. They are going to put the Samuel in the lane as a very likely crystal Samuel. I don't see this being a weapon Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, double CP...
The huge key is that they both have to get Broken Myth online early.
Yes. Yeah, if they go Crystal. Now, they could go Weapon Sky, but like we talked about it, we just don't see it that much.
Not in the jungle. Not in the jungle. It's not going to happen.
All right, well, let's jump into this matchup, everybody. Tempo Storm, they've evened up the series. Can they take down Team Solomid here? We're going to find out right now. Best Chuck a day, he's on his Idris. Von C already showed he knows what to do with Cruel. This could be going either way. Temple Storm has gotten that extra point, though, and we can talk about, like, they were sitting there at 14. Now they've got 15. They're definitely locked in for Live Championship. Of course, they were before this game even started, but now they're staying a little bit safer here from maybe being from that bottom seed, as the best the bottom teams will have is 13 points, and they're absolutely fine here. Or actually, I think if the Immortals or Rogue could get to 16 or 17, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
It actually does look like it might be going into a Weapon Sky here. The fact that I want to point out right now, though, is this is Hyde.
Yeah, in the lane.
On the lane Sky. So maybe just Hyde being more comfortable on the Sky, wanting someone who can be a weapon hero that dances around the fight. Obviously, the Vox was already banned away. This is going to be specifically interesting because Hyde is now out of his comfort in the jungle, and Gatsby is now out of his comfort in the lane. So switching up the roles could provide a little bit of a surprise for Team Solomid, as well as they could put a disadvantage here. But man, that is a Kroll picking up a clean kill onto Gatsby. Again, Kroll very good into these mage junglers. You know, we talk about, you know, Kroll being more of a late game hero. When you're going into a mage, Kroll is an early game hero. Kroll can shut you down so quickly because you're dependent on those items. Not having them, and then also the percentage of damage reduction is absolutely huge. And Gatsby clearly got caught a little bit by surprise there. First blood going into Von C's pocket.
Yeah, and of course, once he got those full stacks on, just the amount of damage reduction he does is really hard to contend with, even a Samuel, when there's no support to back him up, as was the case. So you don't want to see Von C get ahead like he's already started to do. He's not ahead in farm, but having that first blood's going to definitely help him tremendously. Big pocket chunk of gold. Up in the lane, Gatsby rotates up here. Look at the come in, put some poke on the best Chuck a day. Gatsby in the jungle, a sight we haven't seen all too often in his career, but maybe this is something that, you know, they're prepared for. It's definitely a good decoy because they definitely had us fueled the nominee. As far as, you know, I do think, though, if they were going to go something like a Sky, they could have picked that earlier instead of the Samuel, and it would have left open so many other possibilities into this composition from a flex point of view.
I think the Sky was an answer to the Krull, to be honest with you, just providing that additional movement. It's hard to lock down a Sky with a Krull. So I do like the Sky pick. I really think Weapon Sky, especially if you're putting your jungler in the lane on that hero, is a huge risk that that Tempo is taking here, especially in such an important game for them. So going forward, it's going to be all about who can position better and who can outplay who here.
Yeah, definitely going to be very interesting. Tempo Storm looking to try to just get some of that early momentum here, keeping it pretty even in gold. Slight edge does favor Team Solomid, and a lot of that thanks in part to Best Truck and A just being absolutely fantastic in the lane, not missing too much CS whatsoever. And actually Von C now, as he starts to farm, getting a little bit farther ahead than Gatsby at the moment, just maybe for a brief moment, based on that past rotation. Really good to be coming down really to just micro play between these two teams. Best Truck and A, you know, he's a fantastic Idris, so his ability to just make split decisions in the team fight in the moment is what's going to probably separate him between Hyde. Plus, Hyde not being normally the laner might be a big impact. Also, Von C, of course, going down to the jungle does find a little bit of damage here. Stacking on Lost Boy, might get this final blow here. He does, gets the smite, gets the kill, and that's 2 kills going over to Von C.
Yeah, and getting this Krull into the late game is definitely huge. You know, we talked about how Krull is already good into the mage in the early game. It doesn't really get that much easier for Gatsby. And actually, Flash finds a kill onto Hyde. And they are actually now going into the double crystal power, so I do like this better than the Weapon Sky. Weapon Blade, obviously, just to help the clear in the early game. I think the double Frostburn as well as the Broken Myth scaling up is going to make it a very difficult time for Von C. He has to play it careful, but we see him already stacking shield, so that's why these Broken Myths have to come online incredibly quickly. I actually think if you're Tempo Storm, you bypass the Frostburn and just go into that Broken Myth, just because if you put enough brunt damage down into Von C's face, he's going to be forced out of the fight. You don't have to slow him down to really provide any distance. So, again, just the Broken Myths have to come out soon.
Yeah, they really do need to. We do see both teams building into that Frostburn right away early, which is not a bad call. It's going to make it hard for Von C to move into position, at least early on in the engagement. Tension Bow comes out nice from Hell's Heart, locks on. Gatsby dropping low, he's deleted. Lost Boy Toph is low as well. Flash X, though, stays in maybe a little too long. Fallon is going to keep him alive as they do pick up that nice trade. Of course, minions all pushed up underneath the turret of Tempo Storm. They're going to be able to keep pushing it here. Gatsby just trying, Hyde just trying his best to try to keep this wave pushed away from the turret to keep that turret alive. It is going to be Von C taking away the back jungle from Gatsby here. Not what he wanted to see as he picks up both of those. Actually starts working on the sentry. Gatsby just continuing to poke, but it looks like Von C is just going to stay here, keep dealing damage. He's got full stacks at this point and gets the sentry. Gatsby cannot do anything about it. And just like that, Von C able to just rotate up, no problem, and moves on to Hyde. Doesn't get the kill, but wow. Team Solomid just feeling absolutely confident that they can win these fights and engagements.
And the way the fights have been going, I definitely think they're making the right call here by being aggressive. Again, Krull's so good into the Crystal Mage junglers that it makes sense for them to continue to be aggressive. And, you know, again, Von C stacking up this shield very, very heavily, also going to be working into a Poison Shiv here, is going to negate a lot of the healing that comes out of Lost Boy Toph, as well as Gatsby and Hyde as they complete the Eves respectively for themselves. They're both going for the Frostburn first, and this is incredibly risky.
Well, I mean, actually, I kind of like it as long as they can continue to keep their turret alive and get to the Broken Myth, like you said, right away. But it is risky in the sense that you know, Von C is going to start building up this shield pretty soon. He's got 2 tier 3 items. Krulls typically don't need to build that much more, so if they don't get a damage, oh, Hell's Heart comes in, Hyde locked up. Von C trying to get on, gets the kill. Frostburn not doing much good there. They gotta be careful as Team Solomid continue to push in, so Tempo is gonna have to be comfortable just backing away. Oblivion's gonna miss Vainglory barely as he just starts focusing again on the sentry. Vainglory just ignoring Tempo Storm as he wants to get rid of these lives off the sentry right away.
Yeah, definitely making a good push onto these two sentries. Obviously, that's 2 lives now down for them. So that is absolutely huge for the side of Team Solomid, now sitting up at a 7-0 advantage. This Krull having the Poison Shift complete, and Best Chuck and A going the Crystal Idris has made such a huge effect in these fights, but man, Hyde able to turn that one around quickly there, Dragon.
Oh boy, can Vainglory get the kill on Gaspy? He Tension Bow proc gets him pretty close. But he doesn't get the kill here. He's got to be careful. There comes the Sigil, stops Vainglory from rotating. And so now he's just going to have to boots right out of there. Get out as fast as he can. Looks to actually turn his attention on the Lost Boy. Wow, what a gutsy play. He is eventually going to go down, but no ace going over to Tempo Storm. Team Solomid maybe staying too long, overextending in that fight there, Denomine. You know, you do have to still understand that even though you're ahead, you've got to respect the amount of damage that Skye and Gaspy will do when they're using their abilities on you.
Yeah, and I think Vainglory made the attempt to turn around, and I think he was really looking for Gaspy. I think he was trying to get a little bit of sustain and healing back off of Lyra, but Hyde was up in the lane clearing out the minions, so Vainglory actually had a brief moment where he had vision on the Hyde and could see that he was then rotating down, and that's again why I think he just tried to turn around and at least get one thing out of his life, and he wasn't able to quite find it. So, trade goes over. 3 kills going over to Tempo Storm.
Now, what's interesting about this is that engagement. It forces Team Solomid to kind of play a little defensively here. They can't be aggressive. They're not going to get the turret just yet. Although, Hyde backing up might keep them there. Flash X, though, goes in, takes a lot of damage. He's going to go down. So, yeah, Tempo's going to keep that turret alive just a little bit longer. And what this really means is that, you know, they're going to get to their broken myths potentially before they lose their first turret. This could be a good sign for Tempo in this game.
It definitely could be a good sign for Tempo. And again, oh man, Chuck! Huge damage there, and that is a fountain now burned. And that might be, it is indeed going to be Lost Boy Toph dropping down. And now Hyde with no energy is going to be forced back. And this could very likely be the turret for Chuck.
It is. Just a few auto attacks is all he needs. Finishes it off with the Chakram. And that's, you know, unfortunate because Tempo Storm actually was looking like in a good position. Getting Flash X caught out there. They just need to play conservatively. Of course, those Chakrams landing in on Hyde while he was trying to port. Just bad positioning by Tempo there. Not respecting Best Chuck and A's macro play to just understand how important that first turret was to them. We do see Broken Myth, though, has come online for Hyde, Denomine. This is looking like also Gaspy. Gaspy actually might be going with Eve's second, not Broken Myth, and that could be pretty. That might be a bad item. He doesn't necessarily need the sustain as much as they need to do is delete one of the targets of Team Solomid.
Yeah, I mean the Eve, the sustain does kind of make a little bit of sense, especially since it's triple melee. He'll be able to heal a lot off of the splash damage. You could say that we've moved into a double melee now, obviously, since Best Chuck is this Crystal Idris. But man, we got a fight breaking out here. Hyde taking a massive amount of damage. Flash not able to find the kill with the blast tremor there.
Nice block by Gaspy prevents that from Hell's Heart. That would have been a decent stun. But it actually might be Gaspy building into a Broken Myth now. Just as we talked about it, he does pick up that Piercing Shard. And it would make sense for him to start moving into the Broken Myth path. Again, sustain's important, but the Broken Myth stacks will be able to really stack quickly with Skye and with Samuel. Like, they're just naturally going to be good at stacking it. And, of course, you see how good Tide is with zoning on that Death from Above. You just got to watch out for those Chakrams. Gaspy is split out from his team. He is just trying to continue to do poke as Lyra is going to be dropped here. So not a good look. You got to watch out here. Of course, the crystal damage, once it comes online, does tear into Vainglory. He doesn't have a lot of shield. He did build those 2 light shields. That's all he's gotten so far. Oh, I take that back. He's got an Aegis. Wow. He's got a ton of shield. My bad. And this is going to allow them to keep pushing in here. Hyde's going to drop. And there's Death from Above's not going to really connect enough to get anyone down. The turret is going to be the factor there for helping bring down Flash X. But Team Solomid has to feel pretty good about this engagement so far.
Yeah, I think Team Solomid's really felt pretty good all game, with the exception of the one fight that really didn't go into their favor. But again, I don't think they're really at a point that they're too far behind. Flash X obviously did drop there in that last fight, so a little bit of a loss there for them. Nothing major. Again, realistically, the win condition here for the side of Tempo Storm is just you have to build up the broken myth stacks and make Von C's heavy shielding that he has basically irrelevant. And that's just not something that we've really been able to see consistently happen yet.
This is true, but it is, of course, Team Solomid with the massive objective advantage at this point. They have been winning when it counts, so just have to see ultimately if they can start winning these team fights again. We've seen Tempo kind of starting to come back into this game. We do see the broken myth build on Gaspy, so maybe he was listening. Steers away from the Eve. I do expect him to build Eve next, but I actually really like what he's done here. These broken myth stacks will start to do a lot of damage if they can keep the fight lasting a long time. We do see right here, nice block, prevents the Hell's Heart as they continue to go in. Look how much damage, but oh man, it's Von C coming in. Nice silence, helps finishing it off, and Hyde's going to be the next to drop. And just like that, broken myths really not working yet, as these fights are not lasting very long, Denominate.
They're not lasting very long, and that's kind of the situation here. Flash obviously going very heavy here into the shield to make sure he can frontline that damage. There is still a big opportunity here for the side of Tempo Storm. I don't think Gaspy really was going for the Eve second. He definitely picked up the energy battery just for that additional energy sustain, because, I mean, there's so much drive for energy on Samuel. Once you lay down Malice and Verdicts, you start burning through that energy pool really quickly. And at close to 15 minutes here, the Kraken's gonna be on the board in just a minute. It could only take Tempo Storm finding one more fight and really swing this game into their favor.
It could be. We do see Tempo Storm getting caught out here a little bit as Flash X comes in with nice engagement. High drops very low, as Lost Boy and Gaspy are together there with Hyde, trying to keep him back. There is a nice forward barrage. Von C takes a lot of damage, but Gaspy, he's going to drop. Oh, the plays. So unfortunate for Tempo Storm. They looked actually like they had gotten caught out and then survived that first caught out, but then not able to get back far enough to stop Best Chuck a Day from just laying in. So much damage coming out of these two guys right now. Flash X, Von C, and Best Chuck a Day now going to take this Kraken. And this could be game. Team Solomid might be winning their first series in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it definitely where TSM needs to be. They have to pull ahead here. They have to get the win just to stay ahead of Cloud9. That's what this game is important for, is literally TSM being able to keep that #1 spot. And as of right now, it's looking very good for them. Hyde drops, Lost Boy Toph drops. That is Gaspy, the only one left alive. He might be able to find Von C here. But as this Kraken marches down the lane into these last two turrets, this should very likely be TSM closing this one out very, very quickly here. Look at the insane amount of damage that TSM can put down on that objective.
Yeah, it's an incredible amount. As Von C, Flash X, and company now just have one crystal standing in their way. They are going to get their series win for week #3 and still stay in contention for that first seed. Congratulations, Team Solomid. What has arguably been a crazy season for a lot of these teams here in split #2. Starting to just all come together here. And I really like how they just dealt with the composition. And it was really hard once they picked that Samuel to get out of that hole. They couldn't pick a Pello and the Cruel like they did in game 1, which would have been good, but even in that game, we still saw Von C just ripping through the composition of Tempo Storm. Nothing they could do about it. That being said, Tempo got 1 point. They now are definitely guaranteed to get into the Live Championship, and depending on how the rest of the games go, they may actually be a 5th or so seed. We'll have to wait and see, of course, as all these results come in, and we get a little bit better focus on the standings. With that, everybody, though, I want to thank everyone for coming out. This is it for us for the entire season here at the VG8 powered by Vis desk. If you guys all want to see the rest of the Vainglory 8 matches, make sure you guys head over to the Vainglory channel that's live right now. Right now we see Rogue versus Nova, and Nova actually up a point to nominate, so definitely exciting matchup. You're going to want to catch that there. Make sure you guys follow the VIS channel, as we'll be bringing you guys more VIS Pro matches coming up very soon during the off season. Stay tuned for the announcement. With that, everybody, good night, and we'll see you guys in the near future.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.